everyone, this is Amanda at Amanda's Booktopia. If you're new here, welcome, and if not, welcome back. And today, you're going over all the books that I got in the month of August. So I got 12 books here that I either got myself or I got as a gift. So I am very excited to go through all these books with you guys and tell you about a little bit about them in case you did not already know. So first, I'm going to start with 2 books that I won from a giveaway that were gifts from Jess from Honest Fiction. I'm in her Patreon. And in her Patreon for the month of August, she did a giveaway. And I won one of the prizes. So I got like a couple of books that were special editions. So I am really excited for these. So the first one that I received was The Curse of Saints by Kate Dramas. Look at this cover. And then we got these sprayed edges. And then the back is kind of cool. And then when you open it up, we have really pretty cool end pages on that side. And we also have end pages that are different on the other side. They look like that. And then the actual hardback itself is really, really pretty. So this is the actual hardback. And then the spine, it looks really cool too. I actually read this book before. I can't remember if it was last year or the year before that. I think it was a couple of years ago that I read this. I used to own a paperback of it. And I think I unhauled it. However, this is a really pretty edition. And I might have to keep it because it came from Jess. And I did enjoy this book. I gave it 4 stars. And then there was absolutely no fanfare when the sequel came out. Nobody, not one person talked about the sequel. I mean, honestly, I feel like this book is kind of underrated. I mean, yes, it is very similar to Throne of Glass in a lot of ways. I think that's why I enjoyed it, because I absolutely adore Throne of Glass. And I do want to read the sequel. I think there's a 3rd book coming. Not sure if it's already out. I haven't heard. But I would probably have to go back and reread before I even got to the sequel, because there are a lot of things that I forgot in this book, because it's been so long. But it's a really pretty edition. And then this next one that I also got from that same giveaway is my favorite special edition that I own. My absolute favorite. And let me show you why. Look at this cover. Absolutely stunning. Beautiful sprayed edges. And then the back is really pretty. And let me tell you, it gets better as you go to the inside. I mean, the end pages on both ends are the same. However, it's signed by the author, which I think is really cool. And it's really pretty end pages. Even the flap, the inside flap is really pretty. And then when you open this up completely, it gets even better. Let me show you how gorgeous this is. This is the actual hardback. Absolutely gorgeous. And the spine is ridiculously gorgeous. I mean, look at that spine. And then the back. Like, holy cow, is this pretty. And this is why it's my favorite special edition that I own now, thanks to Jess. I cannot wait to read this book, because it's been on my wish list for ages and ages and ages. Now that I own a special edition, I absolutely need to read it. And, wait, did I just put this on backwards? Yeah, I just put this on backwards. Hold on, let me fix that. My bad. But this is The Witch Collector by Carissa Weeks. Now, I've heard nothing but great things about this series. So I am actually very excited to read it. All I know that it's about witches. I know nothing else. There is no synopsis in this book, but let me verify. Ooh, I did not see this inside cover. Okay, that is stunning. Let's see if there's anything on the inside that tells me anything about it. There's an author's note and a map. That's a really cool map. No, there is no synopsis. Ooh, but look at the chapter headers. Really cool chapter header. Are they all like this? Ooh, yay, they're all the chapter headers are the same. They look exactly like this. I love it. Okay, I'm excited to read this even more now. I might have to put this on my TBR before the year is out because it just makes me want to read it more. So, thank you so much, Jess, for these 2 books. I am definitely going to cherish these special editions for sure. And then the next book I picked up from the Barnes & Noble half-off sale that they had going on recently. And I already read this book and absolutely loved it. I've been telling everybody they need to read the book. And I only read it on my Kindle back in February. So I felt like I needed to own a physical copy. The sequel comes out in January. And I really, really, really want to own the sequel. But I also really want to reread this book around the same time the sequel comes out so I can just binge read both of them. This is The Language of Dragons by S.F. Williamson. Absolutely adore the story. It's about this girl named Vivian who is trying to save her family. And in doing so, this takes place in London during 1923. But in order to save her family, she is brought in as a code breaker. And if she succeeds, her and her family can go home again. However, if she doesn't succeed, bad things will happen. So she has to break these codes, and there's dragons, and I don't want to give away too much, but absolutely amazing book. Everybody needs to read it. If you haven't yet, highly, highly, highly recommend. And I am so excited to have this in my collection. And then the next one I got off of, is it Amazon? I think I got this off of Amazon. Hold on, let me reorganize a little bit because I wanted to save this for my Amazon haul. They can just put it in their own stack. But this next stack, I actually got, so we're going to wait on that book, so give me a minute. So we're going to go through these next 3 books that I got from Target. So the first book I got from Target is The Deathless One by Emma Hamm. Never read anything from this author before. This cover is stunning, and it just drew me in, especially when I saw these really pretty green sprayed edges with a design of looks like waves. And it's supposed to be for fans of enemies to lovers, shadow daddies, and feminine rage. And I am so in for all 3. Enemies to lovers, one of my favorite tropes. I love a good shadow daddy. And feminine rage, right up my alley. At the top it says, murdered on her wedding day, a fallen princess makes a deal for her life with the god of death. But the feelings he stirs in her are more than she bargained for. And I'm going to try and go in and with not knowing too much. But the cover says her death is just a beginning. So this will be very interesting. It's a very short book, too, so I feel like I could read this super fast. The second one, they actually have a sneak peek for the second one, which is going to be the Heartless one. But of course, I got to read this first. There's 309 pages in this book. So I could definitely get this done in one sitting if I really wanted to, and I'm sure I could. It sounds so interesting. I know she's also known for Whispers of the Deep, but I want to try this one first and see what I think before I try that one. But I'm so excited. And then the next book I got from Target is The Falling and the Kiss of Dust by Carissa Broadbent. I wanted to keep buying her books, even though she's very hit or miss for me. I absolutely loved The Serpent and the Wings of Night. That was the very first one. Absolutely loved it. That was a 5-star. The Ashes of the Starcursed King, for me, was a 3-star. Six Scorched Roses, for me, unfortunately, was a 2-star. So she's very hit or miss. However, this is the second book in the Miche's duology. The first one in her duology is The Songbird and the Heart of Stone. And I really want to read that, obviously, because I can't read this without reading Songbird and the Heart of Stone first. But I love that this cover is printed right onto the hardback, and there's no plastic I have to take off. So I love that for me. At some point, I do want to read the second duology in this series. I know there's already another book that's already been announced in the series, but I want to read Miche's story before I even attempt to get the next one. So, I also have Slain the Vampire Conqueror from her that I haven't yet read. So, we will have to see how that one goes. This does have really nice end pages. It's really cool. Same thing on both sides. But at some point, I will read both books. Just don't know when yet. Then the last book I pre-ordered from Target and got it in the mail. That is Warrior Princess Assassin by Bridget Kemmer. And I love this author. I loved her Curse of Dark and Lonely series. I read 14 Silver, It's a Stars, and really enjoyed that. Which I also want to reread because I got a second book in that series. And I forgot stuff from the first one. So I need to go back and reread. However, I need to read more from this author because her writing just sucks you in. I've been hearing nothing but amazing things about this particular book. And this has really pretty sprayed edges as well. The blue and the white. And the sword. And then the end pages is also really pretty. Like that. Just a regular hardback. But the end pages is mostly the sprayed edges that really got me. But this cover is also really pretty. And I'm excited to read more books from this author. And I've been hearing nothing but amazing things about this one, so I cannot wait to get to it. And then now for the rest of these books, I got off of Amazon. This first one I got from Amazon, I have already read, and that is Gold by Raven Kennedy. This is a second to last book in the Plated Prisoner series. And I've been doing a read along for it for Just from Honest Fiction's Patreon. I really have a hard time talking. But I read this already in August, and I already read the last book of the series yesterday. So I already finished the series, but I decided not to buy the paperback of the last book because this has not been as great of a series for me as I wanted it to be. I felt like this one was one of the weaker ones. I did not love this one, unfortunately. But my top 2 books of the series is the second book and the last book of the series. I really enjoyed Goldfinch. And I can't remember what the second one was called. I know something with a G, I just can't remember off the top of my head. But the second and last books of the series are my top 2 of the series. This one would be at the lower end of things, unfortunately. It just wasn't a hit for me. But I will talk about this more in my August wrap-up when I get to it. But we're going to move on to other books. The next one I also got just a few days ago is for a book club that I'm participating in. Katie from Katie Reads and Paige from Paige's Open Book. They have a book club called Thrilling Romance Book Club. They alternate between romance and a thriller every month. So for September, they're reading a thriller, and I wanted to get a copy of it. They did not already own it. And the ebook was like $12.99, but the paperback was only like a couple dollars more. So I figured I'd just get a physical copy, and I hope I love it. That is Look Closer by David Ellis. I don't really know much about it, except that it's like a domestic thriller. It says Simon and Vicky couldn't seem more normal. A wealthy Chicago couple with a stable, if unexciting marriage. But with these two, absolutely nothing is what it seems. And a beautiful socialite is found hanging in a mansion in a nearby suburb. Simon and Vicky's complex web of secrets begins to unravel. A whirlwind affair. A $20 million trust fund about to come due. A decades-long grudge and an obsession with revenge. Both Vicky and Simon are liars. But just who exactly is conning who? Prepare to question everything you think you know in this wickedly clever novel of greed, revenge, obsession, and quite possibly the perfect murder. And I haven't really heard anything about this one, except that I did see R.L. Stine blurb this. And he's an epic author in, like, the thriller genre, especially for kids. Like, he writes mostly scary stuff like Goosebumps, Fear Street, that kind of thing. So I figured, since those books are epic, and he blurbed this, I'm hoping this is going to be really, really good. So I'm hoping for a hit in this. And then the next one that I also picked up from Amazon is In the Veins of Johnny by Kaylee Cassidy. I heard Just Mom's Fiction talk about this book, and it was because of her that I had to get it. Plus a couple of others on our Patreon who were talking about this book. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to get it. All I know is that it's about mermaids and sirens, I believe. That is literally all I know. I know nothing else. I mean, it looks like Allison Sash and Ava Reed both blurb this book. I've only read one Ava Reed book so far. Allison Sash I've never read from before. So I've been hearing nothing but amazing things. So I'm hoping to fit this into my TBR before the end of the year, because I want to read this really badly. Possibly October or November. I'm not sure which yet, but I definitely want to read this. Whoa. Hold on, I got books about to fall. All right. Next one. I picked up Slaying the Shadow Prince by Helen Shore. So me and a couple of friends off of one of my Discord servers that I'm in decided we wanted to do like a whole Legends of Thesmar read along. Like the few of us. So I've already started my reread of Blood and Steel because I read it last year and absolutely loved it. And I wanted to make sure that we're going in the right order of things. One of the girls who set this up said that the recommended reading order is to read this one second. So I'm going to be reading Blood and Steel and this one in the month of September. Plus, I've heard really good things about this one in particular. Out of the whole series, I think this one gets the most praise. I know other people say the rest of the series is good, like really good, and I have not read the rest of the series yet. I've only read the first one. So I am excited to get to this in September, and I know nothing about it. Just that it says it's an epic fantasy romance with enemies to lovers, scorching spice, and a richly woven world of magic. So that sounds right up my alley. I cannot wait to read it. And then the next book that I also got is Silver Cloak by L.K. Stevens. This is one of my top anticipated reads of the year. And as soon as this came out, I knew I had to grab it. I wanted to get it in July, but I wasn't able to, so I had to wait till August. But I am so excited. This is the same author who wrote Our Infinite Fates. That's it. It's the same author who wrote Our Infinite Fates, but with this is her adult debut. under a pen name, LK. Her other book she wrote under Laura Stephen. So she just shortened her name, I guess. I'm guessing Kate is the start of her middle name. But what I heard about this book is that it's Harry Potter meets Mafia. And I'm like, what? I had to have this. So I am so excited. And this also has like teal sprayed edges. And the end pages are actually a matte. And it's the same thing on the other side as well. So I'm also going to be buddy reading this in the month of September. So I cannot wait to dive into this book. I'm hoping it's going to be just as good for me as Our Infinite Fates was. And I am so, so, so excited. And then the last book that I got in August was Girls of Dark Divine by Evie Woods. And I haven't heard a single person talk about this one. But when I heard it was coming, I knew I had to have it. It is, I believe, a Swan Lake retelling. And retellings is one of my buzzwords. Absolutely love them. And it's it's basically fantasy romance, but with ballet, with that Swan Lake retelling in it. Let me read to you what this says so that you know a little bit more about it. It says, in the legendary ballet theater of New Cora, the girls on stage enchant the audience each night with their grace and divine beauty. Before Emberlyn was the star of the show, it was her dream to become one of them, until she learned the price of their living nightmare. A magical curse binds the girls to the show's mastermind, Malcolm, whose invisible strings wheel their limbs as if they are marionettes, and the commands don't stop when the curtain comes down. Each dancer is destined to turn to dust once the curse consumes her. When the troupe is invited to perform in the glitzy city of Carlesia, Emberlyn knows this could be her best chance to save them all. She meets an elusive boy made of shadows who has a magical connection to the girls. Together, they work to unravel the haunting truth about their creation and fight for their survival. But the cost of freedom might be too high, and as Emberlyn dances closer to the edge of darkness, she realizes she might break the curse, or break her own heart forever. And I'm really looking forward to this. So, I don't know if I'll get to it before the end of the year, but I really do hope I get to this soon, because it's right up my alley. And that is all the books I have accumulated in the month of August. Have you read any of these? If you have, I would love to hear your thoughts down in the comments. And if you got this far into the video and you don't feel like being chatty, why don't you leave me a bird, actually? Because both these covers have birds on it. So thank you for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give me a huge thumbs up. If you want to see more bookish content from me, make sure you smash the subscribe button down below. And I will see you all in the next one.